Hey guys, my name is Mike and I've decided to make a video tutorial series on how to make a game using LibGDX and Java. LibGDX is a free Java game library anybody can download and use. It's open source. So let's get started. The game we're going to make is going to be a Flappy Bird clone because that seems to be sort of the hello world of video games. And it's also very simple and a straightforward game to get started. So yeah, let's get started. I have a list of things that we're going to do for this first video. This is just the project setup steps. And I've already downloaded all of these things and they're already on my computer. I'm not going to totally redo that, but I'm going to kind of step through and hopefully show you guys a little bit of how it's going to look. So first thing to do is, if you haven't already, get started by downloading the Java Sdk. So I'll just do a search here and open up the web page. Click on the latest Java SE Development Kit 8, and then go down here and download the one that corresponds to your operating system. It's probably going to be this Windows 64-bit. So go ahead and download that, follow the instructions, and you should be okay after going through and installing that. Next thing to do is download the Android Sdk. So I'll just search for Android Sdk in Google and click on installing Android Sdk, and you want to get this standalone SDK tools, and go ahead and download that, and remember where it puts it in your file system. Basically this is just the Android framework. It gives you access to all the Android libraries so that you can make Android apps. So our game is going to run on Android, so you're going to need this. So go ahead and download that. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to get Intellij, which is a IDE, and that stands for Integrated Development Environment. Basically, it's just a place where you can store, hold all your source files and assets for your game, and gives you one place to sort of work from. So go ahead and download that. I'll search for it here, Intellij download. I'm using the latest one. You can get this community edition. It's the free version. The one I have is 14.0.3. I think that's the latest one. If you download here, you'll get that. And once you have that, I would go ahead and open it, and it'll ask you some questions like where you'll have to point it to your Java SDK that you downloaded and the Android SDK that you downloaded. Just point it to those directories and it'll set itself up for you. So let me minimize that for a second, but it's pretty user-friendly the first time it comes up. It should ask you to do that automatically. So once you got that, download LibGDX. Setup UI is what we want. So go here and download, you wanted this download setup app. Go ahead and download that and open it. And I'll just show you what it looks like here. It's a little UI that lets you, this is going to generate our game for us, or at least the base files for our game. So go here and make a name for your game. I'll just put Flappy, we'll just do Flappy game for now. And the package name is kind of like a reverse URL. Usually the middle or the second name is the name of your company, so you can just type something creative. I think this has to be unique, so the third name is just the name of your game. So I think that'll work for now. And game class, Flappy game, that's fine. Destination, I usually put things in CDev. And Flappy tutorial, I'll name this Flappy tutorial 2 since I already have one set up. This is just for demo purposes to show you kind of how this will work for you. I think I've named things a little bit differently. But yeah, and then the next thing is it wants the Android SDK. So point it to your Android SDK that you downloaded. Mine is in this program files Android, and I think that's the default, so yours might also be the same. and I'm using the latest version of LibGDX 1.55. I'm going to uncheck the iOS and HTML subprojects because I don't think I'm going to get into the iOS, and I've never made an HTML5 game with LibGDX because some things aren't available in HTML that are available in Android, and I've never wanted to figure that out, or I've never had the desire to deploy to HTML5, so I've never made an HTML5 game with LibGDX. So for this demo, or for this tutorial series, I'm just going to show you how to do desktop and Android. So uncheck all the extensions because we don't want any of those, and go ahead and hit generate here. And it gives me some weird errors, but we'll just say yes, yes, and everything's going to be okay. So it's going to put some stuff in this destination folder, hopefully, and you see down here is some output. So we'll give it a second to generate that stuff. And there it goes, it's done. It says to import in Intellij, which is what we're using. Go to File, Import, Build Gradle. So yeah, that should be the next step. So open up your Intellij. I opened it up here earlier. I already have this project. This is going to be our project, but let me just close that and show you how to import it after it was generated. So I think you just go File, Import, Project, and then point it to your directory where you generated this stuff. And I think I put it here. So I've already gone through this a couple times. So I think this is the one I just generated. So we'll go with that. And choose Gradle here because our project is a Gradle project. And use default Gradle wrapper. And that looks good already. So finish. And let it generate. So this is basically going to set up your IntelliJ workspace here. So it makes some IntelliJ project files so that IntelliJ knows where to look for things. And Gradle is going to, I think it downloads some dependencies also. I think it should download like the LibGDX jars or libraries for you automatically. So let's open this in a new window. So, yep, there it goes. And okay, here's the Explorer. So let's open our project, and it's generated here's our desktop project, and here's the Android project. So if we go in here, go under source to look at what's there. Not much. This is just an Android project, and actually it calls this initialize and it gives it a new Flappy game, which is over here. So most of our code is going to be in this core area. So here's Flappy game. And this is kind of where you do most all of the logic in your video game, and your platform specific projects are just going to call into this core project to reference the game logic. So this is where all your code's going to go, and let's try to run this on desktop just to make sure everything's okay. Go to Run, Edit Configurations, and we have to actually add the desktop configuration manually like this. Just click this plus and go to Application. Name this Desktop. And I think we have to pick a main class, which is this desktop launcher. And we actually have to change this working directory to Android Assets directory. And I'll talk about that in 1 second. It's giving me this module not specified. You have to change this drop down to desktop. And hit OK. And then you can go here to run desktop. And Gradle is building some tasks. Okay, so we'll just give it a second here. And there it is. There's the starting project. So if you got here, you're done for the first video. Oh yeah, let me talk about the set working directory. So basically, if you look at this Flappy game here, it tries to load this bad logic JPEG, and that was the little image you saw on the screen when you run this program. And where that is that's actually in your Android assets directory. So you have to make sure that you set the working directory to this directory so that it can find this file. Otherwise, you'll get some error. So in case you don't remember, that was edit configurations, working directory is pointing to Android assets. Okay. So I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover for this first video. I'm going to be putting the code on GitHub, so anybody can download it. You can sort of follow along with each day to make sure everything's working okay. I'll probably make a video about maybe using Git in the future. Let's see, what else is there? Yeah, we did all this. So yeah, also make sure you leave a comment. Maybe I went too fast, maybe I went too slow. I really have no idea. I've never tried to teach anything in my entire life, so please give me some feedback on that. It'd be much appreciated. And yeah, next time I guess we'll get into some real programming. So thanks guys. Let me know if this worked for you, if you're running into any problems. If you do run into any problems, I would really recommend Googling it first. There's a lot of stuff that could go wrong, and there's no way I can cover all the little things that could get you in one video. So if something goes wrong, just Google it, and if you still can't figure it out, leave a comment, and I'll try to help you. I'm actually brand new with Intellij. I'm very used to using Eclipse, but it seems like most of the Java community is sort of moving towards Intellij slowly. So I figured it's good to know Intellij. The new Android, what is it called? The Android Sdk, not SDK, but Android IDE. Oh, Android Studio is what it's called. I was going to look it up, but the Android Studio is based on Intellij, and it's Eclipse is no longer being supported, so everybody's kind of moving over to Intellij based development in Java. So now is the time for me to learn, I guess, and for you as well with this tutorial series. I'll try to cover a little bit of what I learned going through. So anyways, go ahead and set that up, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.